Hey guys, welcome to Add to Stuff. Got a really quick DIY project for you today. I'm going to be fixing a leaky radiator in my lounge. I'll be showing you the tools I'm going to be using and the techniques I'm using to take that apart, fix the problem and reassemble it. But as always, before I start, let's pop over to the kitchen where I've got some pork tenderloin for you. Hey guys, welcome back to Stuff. Because today's project is a relatively quick one, I'm going to match that with a really quick smoke on the smoker. So I've got some pork tenderloin today. So this is just a small piece. What I've done is remove some of the silver skin and some of the fat that goes with this. It's quite a lean piece of meat, so we're going to cook this low and slow on the barbecue. The rub I'm going to be using, I've not mixed my own today. I'm just going to use the Angus and Orange sweet bones and butts. I used this on the previous pork shoulder cook and it was really nice, so I'm going to use that again. So I'm going to go in with some olive oil again, just as a bit of a binder, just a little bit, just to make sure that I can get that fully stuck on. And then I'm going to coat this all the way around with this rub. Okie dokie, so that's ready for the fire. So I'm going to be smoking this with apple wood today. I'm going to put a couple of big chunks on, or biggish chunks on. I want a lot of smoke really early on because we're only going to get this smoked. This will only take about an hour to cook. It's quite a thin piece of meat. Yeah, let's do that.
So pork is on the barbecue. I've got some apple wood chunks in the bottom. I'm going to smoke this about 110 for the next hour or so.
Today I've got a DIY project for you, which is fixing a leak in this radiator valve. So that is my radiator under my window in my lounge, and that is the radiator valve in front of a really bad paint job. I should have probably gone behind there a bit better, but that's for another day. The focus today is on fixing leak, because what has happened is I'm getting this green staining on the floor underneath. That is how I noticed it. And you can see all sorts of discoloration on the valve itself. So tools I'm going to be using today are this adjustable spanner, this adjustable, I think they're called adjustable sort of groove pliers, but I'll be using these in lieu of a pipe wrench, and also some PTFE tape. If I need to take any of the joins apart, I'll be putting some of this around the threads in order to make that thread tight when I put it back together. And I've also got a paint tray, not to touch up that dodgy paintwork I did, but to catch any water that comes out of the radiator if and when I disconnect it in a minute. So I've had a quick look at the join, all of the joins around this area, and I think I've got a leak from this one, which I can just tighten up with the spanner and pipe wrench. But I've also got a leak from the tailpipe where the radiator valve meets the radiator. So what I'm going to have to do is take this nut off, remove the valve, take the radiator tail out, put some PTFE tape on, and then put it all back together. So what I've done is at the other end of the radiator I've just closed off the valve, and I'm going to do the same here. There we go. So that'll keep any water in the pipe. I'm not disconnecting at the other end, so when I take this off there should be a little bit of water that comes out of the radiator, but not much, and then I'll be able to catch that in my tray. So let's see what that looks like. So what I'm actually doing here is draining the radiator because I need to tighten up the tail that's actually inside the radiator. I'm going to let the radiator drain down, and then I'll be able to tighten up this where there's no water coming out of the radiator. A little bit faster. What I've done is open the valve at the top here so that it allows air allows air in the top, which will push the water at the bottom. Hopefully that'll drain it down quicker. Just remember, when you fill the radiator back up, I need to close this valve off so that well, water doesn't come out of it. Okay, so all the water is drained out of the radiator. This is now ready for me to tighten this up. Now this takes a 12mm hex key. This is actually only a 10, which is what I have in my shed. That doesn't fit, which is ideal. So what I've had to do is go to Toolstation and buy this one. This is £3.66 4-in-1 radiator valve spanner. So I'm hoping that that'll do the business. So you can see that all of the PTFE tape on this tail that was in there, now that I've removed the nut, all the PTFE tape is disintegrated on there. So what I'm going to have to do is load that back up and put it back in. Also just going to give before I put the tail back in, I'm going to just give the end a bit of a clean out. So I managed to get the tail out using this tool from Toolstation, but this is 12mm across the flat, and in there this is an old school valve, so this is 1/2 inch, so actually this is too small. Because this is already loose though, I managed to use this on a sort of angle in order to get it out. But now I'm doing it back up, that isn't working so much. So instead of going back to Toolstation, well, they didn't have one of the old style valves, spanners, sorry. So what I've done is I'm doing a bit of proper makeshift Allen key, and I've just got a stainless steel bolt with 3 nuts on the end. That is 12.5 across the flats, so I'm going to use that as my Allen key, and hopefully you can see there that that is doing up the tail. So with the tail back in, I'm just going to give everything around here a clean up, including my skirting boards, and I'll put a bit of PTFE tape back around this nut, attach that back on, give it all a nip up. I'll refill the system, or refill this radiator by opening the valves and letting a bit more water in the system, and then I'll see if I've got a leak, and then I might nip these up a little bit more. So I'm just going to use some wire wool in order to clean up these bits, and then we'll come back and I'll tighten it up. Okay, so I've just repressurized the system. I've opened this valve and the one at the other end. This radiator is now full up again. I've just got this piece of kitchen roll around the joins. I've had it around there for about 5 minutes and that is bone dry. So that's given me a little indication that it's no longer leaking. So I'm happy now that that's not going to leak anymore. So I'm just going to tidy up and that's another job complete. I'll probably do that paint job another time.
Okay, so pork has been on for about an hour. We're now at a temperature of 69. It went on a little bit longer. I was aiming for 63, which is about the sort of lowest that I would want to go with pork, I think. But I'm going to take this off, let it rest, and then give it a chop.
Hey guys, end of the day here on Matt Does Stuff. Today was a quick one. I've fixed the leaky radiator, and while I was doing that I was smoking this, which is some pork tenderloin. This has just been resting for 5 minutes since I took it off the barbecue. So let's see what this tastes like. So I took this off the barbecue at just under 70 degrees C internal temperature. Tried to get the thickest part of the meat. I think in the US they say you can serve it at like 63 degrees C or 145 degrees C, but I've gone a little bit higher. So let's see what that tastes like. That is delicious. A little bit more firm than I would have liked, but again, next time I'll take it to a lower temperature. But really good smoked applewood flavour. I'm loving that rub again. Yeah, overall pretty pleased with that. I'm of course going to be serving this with beer. Can be any beer, but tonight I've got the Iron Maiden Trooper premium British beer. So let's see what that tastes like. Good beer. So what I should have done was make something to go with this, but given that I only had the time it took me to do the radiator, I'll probably just eat this pork on its own. Anyway, you stay safe and remember, get some stuff done.